sure you know people who immediately jump to like the worst case scenario. Like you tell them something and then their first thought is, oh my god, like what if this goes wrong and what if that goes wrong? You should be careful about this. It could be as simple as you telling them about a trip that you're taking, and immediately their first thing is just make sure that you have everything, make sure that that country is not safe, be careful on how you do that. This could be in particular with certain situations and certain things that these people do, but there are things that these people are so used to going back to, right? It's always that they're coming from a place of fear, a place of lack, a place of worry and anxiety. That's like their normal state, right? This could be most of us at some point in our life, in our journey of evolution, or this could be us occasionally, as I said, for a few things, right? So the reason why, like, immediately that's the first thing that we go to fear. We're either coming from fear or lack, or the sense of like anxiety of something going wrong, instead of being like, this is who I am. Because I used to be that. I was always someone who came from fear, who came from anxiety, who was always afraid of something wrong going, like something wrong happening. And this also plays in a very subtle way, even when you're doing something positive. Okay, it's that little voice at the back of your mind which is like, you know what, it's not working. It doesn't work out for things, don't work out for you, right? So better do something else, right? Take an extra precaution, have a plan B. You can't just completely trust and just do what you want and things will work out for you, right? So there are like different like categories of that negativity. Okay, some of us could be in that state constantly for everything. Some of us could step into that state here and there, that state of anxiety, fear, that worry, and that constant state of lack. And for some of us it is like a very frequent place that we all go to, right, from our day-to-day life. So instead of thinking of this person as you know what, that person is always so negative, or looking at yourself in that manner wherein you're like, I don't know, why do I always go and become so negative, right? Look at the reason. There's this whole shadow aspect that plays a major role. It's sort of like a protective shadow aspect that comes into play when there is uncertainty, right? So maybe this is related to a job that you're looking at. This is maybe related to a business that you're starting. This is maybe you're starting to like do things differently, or even like setting a sales goal, right? It could be as simple as that. But if there is certain element of things that you cannot control, this shadow aspects just comes and like you step into that entirely. You hand over your whole consciousness, your day-to-day efforts to this person, right? So we have to understand, why is it that this shadow aspect even exists in our consciousness? Firstly, you know this, it exists because it's trying to protect you from that uncertainty. So to some extent, the thing is, most of our this negative shadow aspect, that the shadow aspect that goes immediately to the worst case scenario, it came into our being when there was a lot of uncertainty and it wanted to protect us, right? For all of us, it could be somewhere below the age of 5 or 7, wherein this shadow aspect had to take over because maybe something so debilitating happened. I mean, not in terms of the traumatic event itself, but how you felt in that moment. So this shadow aspect had to come up and it had to help you grow and become the person that you are. Because if that event was so painful for you that and the shadow aspect wouldn't have stepped up, you wouldn't be able to process and go through life. So these shadow aspects, especially the protective ones, especially the ones who are who now we label as self-sabotaging aspects, your procrastinator, your firefighter, your anger response, your shame, all of these aspects, this perfectionist aspect as well, they are existing so that they knew was that like their consciousness is to the point wherein they still look at you like your real self as a 7-year-old, right? And they want to make sure that you are taken care of, like you are taking care of yourself. So when you upgrade these shadow aspects consistently by integrating them and letting them know that you're no longer that little girl who needs their protection to this extent. It feels debilitating when you're trying to do something big in your life, something challenging. It might not be life threatening, but the way these shadow aspects, these protective shadow aspects, these managers of your life, the way they're looking at your life right now is they look at you and they're like, oh my god, this girl, it's still this little girl that I need to protect. I need to hold her back, because if I didn't do this role, then what is even my job? Because that's what they're doing. They're all playing a role, they're all playing a job to keep you safe, to make sure that you're going through life. Because think about it, if these aspects didn't step up, it was impossible for you to move on. But this is where shadow integration comes into play, wherein you have to step back and realize that this aspect of me, I don't need to shame this aspect of me. I need to appreciate everything that it has done, and that's what they need. Trust me, I have done some of the most deep, incredible shadow work with the most ambitious women around the world, and it's always like it is, to my shock and their shock, even during the session, we're always like we're mind blown as to the things that these shadow aspects are talking about, and the consciousness they have their own mannerisms, they have their own protective mechanisms and all of these things, and they have their own value system and everything. So instead of fighting against yourself, which feels like you're like trying to win an uphill battle, you got to integrate these shadow aspects into you, so that you have your own energy force, and then you have this whole different consciousness, this whole different awareness, and its conscious energy that is helping you move in the same direction. Okay, so it's not about like getting rid of these parts. Some of these parts might want to like release themselves of this job that they were doing because they feel like their job is no longer required. Some of these aspects, you need them at certain stages of your life, right? So it depends on how you're working with and who you're working with, who can like specifically guide you as to how are you going about it, and help you integrate these shadow aspects so that you're able to take these wisdom and these values and these talents, like it almost feels like a split personality that you have, who has all of these skill sets that you can use for your own benefit. Another example that's coming up in my mind is the movie Inside Out, the recent one that came out. So the anxiety, as long as it was running the show, it was chaos. Like no one could do anything. It was like it was debilitating. Nothing could happen. It was the most difficult situation. So you can't let these shadow aspects run the show. But as how Joy does is she helps her with a warm cup of tea, and she helps her like relax on a peaceful couch, and then that shadow aspect, I'm not sure if everyone noticed this aspect, this thing that was very powerful. The way the anxiety, like the moment it relaxed, it still reminded Joy that it had some homework that I was supposed to do, or prepare for a test that I was supposed to do. So all of these shadow aspects that you think are working against you, they have tendencies and things that you can use in your favor, provided that these shadow aspects know their role in your whole consciousness, right? This might seem like too woo woo, but trust me, that is how like I have been able to move like the force I have been for the past 2 to 3 years, even before that, all my life, because I have been very consciously aware about what is working, what is not working, why is this not working, and becoming very aware about these shadow aspects, these aspects of me that were playing out. And I was able to like catch these things out of the blue and use them in my favor, because that way I always felt a lot more powerful, a lot more in control of what I was trying to do, what I was trying to accomplish. And I think this is where the personal growth industry is not catching up, wherein we're either expected to numb our feelings, we're either expected to dismiss them, or like marinate in them for years and years, and just talk about them, but never really understanding how do you like skyrocket your productivity. And this is how you do it. You integrate, understand these shadow aspects, use them as more like catalyst to exactly what where you're going for, and you incorporate their strengths to what you're going for, and that way you're expanding your human potential, expanding your productivity, tapping into values and things and potentials and skill set that you were not even aware that was possible. But these shadow aspects that were working against you will start working in your favor. So when you have all of this, you're able to understand what is the whole goal. You're able to be more in conscious awareness of what you're creating, what is the coding that you're doing for the next part of your life. And like it's so easy for people, like when I hear a lot of these coaches, like I'm not shaming anyone, but wherein they talk about overcoming your circumstances, being bold, being strong, don't worry about this, and they just like do all of these things. If you have a very strong willpower and you're able to do it, amazing. But not a majority of people are able to just dismiss their feelings and then just focus on what they want, and they have trained their mind for that. That's amazing. But this is the technique for people who have gone through stuff, and they're trying to heal from it, but that sort of has become this new identity of them just healing and like carrying forward that trauma and reliving it and recreating those past experiences. And the reason all that is happening is because you have to at some point step into your power and realize that that's not serving me anymore, and this is not the way I want to be taking my life in, and step into your personal power. And the more you call back your consciousness from these shadow aspects into who you are, your personal growth, your personal development, your life, the way you are, how much present you are, it will all change drastically. Like I have, like the way the place that I have my clients come in is exactly that. They're tired of healing, they're tired of not seeing it turn into tangible results. They want things to happen fast enough, they want to fast track their divine timing, but for some reason it feels like things are moving way too slow, like they are sort of working against themselves. And at this point, another thing that happens is, because you're so consciously aware about everything that's happening, but then you're not taking any action towards it, what happens is you're being pulled even further down. So now your lows feel even lower, right? So maybe before you would like spend some time like crying about the problem and then you would go get over it, but now there's this whole thing of like, I have been doing this for so long, why is it so hard? Is there like something wrong with me? Am I going insane? Like I was at that place. I was like, I'm doing so much healing, I'm doing so much personal growth work, I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but why is it like so much more harder for me? What am I missing? Why am I not able to just flip my thoughts? Why am I not able to stay in this positive state? Why my anxiety is taking the worst of me? And instead of going for like, oh my god, maybe I need to have pills for my anxiety, I did that, but none of that helped, right? So I had to like constantly ask myself and do this sort of shadow inner work, which is all I knew. I knew all of this and I used to do this with clients, but then for a few years I forgot about it. And like I started adopting other techniques, but then I was called, like it almost felt like a dream. It was almost like, talk to the shadow aspect of you, and then I started doing it and it started unfolding, it started getting better, and I woke up and I found myself with a whole different perspective on life. And it was something that I haven't experienced in a long time, and I was like, okay. So I had this tool in my pocket for the longest time, but I wasn't using it, right? So now that I've incorporated it in the past 2 years, like I can't even talk about the shifts. Like it's been crazy amazing, the way things are unfolding, the success mindset, the way my container has expanded, the way my prices have gone up, the way things are working out. It feels insane. Like I couldn't have ever imagined that life would turn out this way, the way it's turning out now. And all of that could happen because I was willing to do the shadow integration and consistently stepping into the identity, remembering who you are and all of these things, and personal power. We talk about all these things, but we never really talk about how you get there. How do you make that transition to this identity? Of course, you make that decision and then you step into that awareness and all of that. But what if you're not able to maintain that state? So you get into that awareness wherein things are working out, you're signing high-ticket clients, your business is growing, and then suddenly you will not want to show up. You will feel lazy to even post. You will feel like, what's even the point? It's not working. Everything will feel like it's going downhill from there. Right? So that's how you train yourself. You train yourself to consistently be building into this practice with shadow integration, with integrating these fragmented aspects of your consciousness that are actually taking a lot of your energy. This is also for people who are like, I'm tired all the time. I haven't done anything. I just feel so exhausted, because You're giving away your energy and your consciousness to so many different aspects of you that your energy is not harnessed the right way. It's not being trained, and it is not being channeled in the deliberate creation of what you want. Even if you're doing techniques, even if you're applying strategies, even if you are doing all of these things that are supposed to lead you forward, it feels like it's not doing that because of that switch and how your energy is being split, right? So I hope this video gave you exactly what you needed from this, and yeah, see you in the next video.